I'd like to call our meeting to order. We welcome everybody being here. Thank you for coming today. This time we'll let Ms. Bryant call the roll.
Roger Garner.
Here.
Fred Black.
Here.
Todd Nix.
Here.
Joe Hackworth.
Here.
Okay, so we have a quorum. This time we'll have Commissioner Hackworth lead us in prayer and pledge of allegiance.
Father in heaven, we are so grateful that you love us and your kindness toward us, Father. We're thankful, Father, that you are a God of mercy and a God of grace. We thank you, Father, for this wonderful county and the communities that we enjoy and live in this part of the state. We're thankful for our country. Father, we're also thankful for our employees that work really hard on behalf of all of our citizens, and we're thankful for our citizens in this county. Thank you, Father, for everything you do for us. Just ask that you'll be with us in this meeting. Help us to always have the best interest of the citizens of our county first and foremost. Thank you, Father, for loving us and blessing us. Thank you for calling us your children. It's in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Okay. Are there any public comments on our agenda items today? Okay, if none, that brings us to regular business. The first item is consideration of the regular business agenda. Do we hear a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Garner?
Second.
Second, Mr. Black. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. If everyone's reviewed the minutes of the last meeting, do I hear a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Mr. Hackworth.
Second.
Second, Mr. Garner. Any discussion or correction to the minutes? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we need to discuss our new meeting times, whether we want to change them or keep them the same, and that'll be for this term. So any discussion on our work session time, also our meeting time?
Me personally, Mr. Chairman, I mean, the times and dates are cool with me for the meeting. I do think we do need to look at the work session and need to schedule it on an as-needed basis. I think a lot of times that we do attend work sessions that may or may not be necessary. And, you know, when we get to the last meeting of the month, I think then a decision can be made between the chairman and the administrator as to whether we need to have a work session the next week.
Okay, on the first Monday?
Yeah, on the first Monday. Leave it the same day. Yeah, I think that works good. But like I said, you know, and I mean, there's gonna be times when we need work sessions. But there's also times when we probably don't.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I presume, Mr. Gardner, we still have our regular work sessions before.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Before, and leave on those 2 days, the work sessions the way they are. Starting at 3.
Any more thoughts on that? And let's just deal with the first Monday right now then, with that idea. Does that sound good? Then it won't be a regular, always meeting on the first Monday, just, we have 5 days to post right in front of it. So on our fourth Monday meeting, we would have time to post, if there will be, the work session on the first Monday. Okay, that's good with everybody? Okay, and then the other work sessions, Do we need to meet at 3 or 3:30?
I mean, and I don't know that I have a big opinion. There again, you know, if you're gonna add the other one as needed, I don't, a lot of times we're not up here for 2 hours, and most of the time, we're not in a 2-hour work session, so that might be beneficial too.
I kind of concur. I agree.
So 3:30,
And if we needed a longer meeting for some reason, we
we'll
could.
post that too.
And we can also, y'all, after the meeting, if there was something that we needed to discuss, we could also come back then and pick that up.
Yeah, we could announce that we'll have a,
We're going into work session after this.
yeah. That sound good? Mr. Buck?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then our voting meetings, everybody good with 5 o'clock on the first, second and fourth Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. So that covers all of that right on meeting, so I need a motion and a second on having the first Monday work session as needed. And then meeting on the second and fourth Monday with 3 work sessions beginning at 3:30. And then the regular, on the second and fourth Mondays, the regular meetings begin at 5.
Yeah, so moved.
Mr. Garner, second, Mr. Nix. Okay, any more discussion on it?
I need to do a roll call vote on that.
Okay,
Mr. Garner.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Black.
Aye.
Mr. Nix.
Aye.
Mr. Hayward.
Aye.
Okay.
okay, so motion passes. That establishes new meeting times. Okay, the commission approves signing a contract with Integrity, and that's to customize, provide, implement, support a probate court and land record application for the probate office. Need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Mr. Black,
Second.
second Mr. Garner. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Uh-huh.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The commission would like to encourage citizens to show support and honor our military through participation in the Operation Green Light. So I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay, motion, Mr. Nix, second, Mr. Garner.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The commission approves an out-of-state travel request to Mississippi. That'd be for a revenue department employee. Hear a motion and a second.
Motion.
Mr. Black,
Second.
second, Mr. Hackworth. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The commission approves expending a portion of the county contingency fund for a lunch meeting with our state legislative delegation to discuss economic development opportunities, economic development funding, bills that will be coming up, et cetera, on both local and statewide level. So I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Mr. Garner, second, Mr. Hicks. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I was gonna ask, who have you heard, who all have you heard from?
Everybody.
Eric, so everybody's coming? Good, good.
All right,
What was the date on that?
It's next, the 25th, at 1 o'clock.
Monday at 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I already think. I said no, it was good.
Okay. Did we vote on that?
Yeah.
No.
Now we have.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to a bid called chassis mounted salt sand spreaders. And that was opened on Wednesday, November 13th. Today by Mr. Eric Hill. We'll refer to you for recommendations on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We only had one bidder, that was Warren Truck and Trailer, out of Birmingham, and, their price was $31,395 a piece. We're looking at 3 of those. We had budgeted 40 apiece for those, so it's under budget. I recommend that.
Okay. Okay, we hear a motion and a second to approve that bid.
So moved.
Mr. Hatworth,
Second.
second Mr. Black. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Look forward to getting that. The commission would like to appoint John Pennell to the NACOG Revolving Loan Board of Directors, and that term expiration will be May 26th of 2027. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Mr. Garner,
Second.
second Mr. Nix. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to auditing and paying the bills. Oh,
We can share.
Oh.
We're good.
We can share,
We're good.
We're good.
okay. You've seen it anyway.
I've seen it, sir.
By email. Okay, Ms. Bryant.
I'm sorry, I don't have that one short. Agribusiness, $24, animal control, $12.30. Board of Education, $123.62. Board of Registrars, $218.04. Community Corrections, $257.03. Coroner, $4.40. County Commission, $40,442.07. Courthouse, $6,227.58. Data processing, $1,188. Detention center, $9,608.40. Elections, $7,009.51. Farmers EMA, $12,212.78. Farmers Market, $24. Food stamp building, $24. Government building, $1,240. License, $3,803.68. Opioid settlement program, $4,000. Parks, $26,154.50. Probate, $5,536.88. Reappraisal, $5,765.34. I think I got off the line there. Where was I? Appraisals. Revenues, $1,724.79. Road Department, $450,859.29. RSVP, $137.09. Sheriff, $43,131.98. Solid Waste, $182,589.04 for a grand total of $802,318.32.
You hear a motion and a second, pay the bill.
Motion.
Mr. Black,
Second.
second Mr. Hatworth. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We don't have any public hearings, any reports from staff?
No report.
Report. That brings us to public comment period. No one signed in today. Are we having a work session right after this? Is that on the agenda?
Well, it's on the agenda, but if y'all wanna have one, I've got stuff ready for one.
Okay. I've got a few things we'll put into that. So right now, though, do I hear a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Mr. Garner.
Second.
Second, Mr. Black. Meeting adjourned. There'll be a short work session following.
Y'all wanna go over and sign your bonds first, or do you wanna do it after the meeting?
No, I'm, it wasn't that long, we can wait.
Okay, let's start our work session. We'll start with the sheriff.
Southern Health Partners contract is coming up for renewal in January. Spoke to Mr. Hackworth, Mr. Black, not too long ago about it. There's an increase, the recommended increase, because it adds a 40-hour staffing for a head nurse. The increase goes from, it's about $100,000 a year increase, goes from $540,000 contract to about a $644,000 contract. But again, that it adds a 40-hour head nurse to the contract. Basically, the head nurse right now works a shift, so there's really no head nursing going on. It's basically shift work.
Joe, I have a question on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way this works is, we pay them $514,000 a year. 40. And they apply that to any medical bill we have.
Not 540. 540 pays everything, their salaries and stuff. Now they set aside,
We get $84,000 out of that, and then we pay all the medical bills on top of that.
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've thought this in the past, I'm not really sure why we go this route. I mean, I don't know why, so if after $84,000, we're gonna pay all bills after, why would we even fool them?
You got a medical service.
you're paying for nurses at the jail.
I'm talking about though, if a prisoner goes to the hospital, do they pay that as an insurance company?
They pay first $84,000 for the hospital.
I mean, I don't see what you're gaining.
That's $84,000 a year and that's it? Or is that a one-time?
That's what.
That's the total
That's-
per year.
That's the total,
We
right?
pay them the amount he's telling you, we pay them that much a month. We pay them a monthly rate. And then what they do is, when the new contract starts, when we get hospital bills from people that go to jail, you get, like they'll say, you spent $25,000 or $10,000 at the hospital, that's off your $84,000. They'll show you what your 84 minus the 10,000. Next month, they'll do the same thing in the next month. Some months you might not have anything come out. Some months you may have every bit of it be so.
Okay, the other 400, roughly
That's for the-
50,000, what does it go for?
The nurses.
To pay employees, to pay their employees.
Do we have nurses 24/7?
We're staffed 24/7 with nurses.
And
We have
any
a
medicine
doctor.
that they use at the.
We have a doctor that comes twice a week. And again, that's the example I use, there's 320-something inmates down there right now, over half of them have medical care or need medical care. So if you walk into the emergency room right now, they don't have near the numbers that we've got in the jail. I mean, I don't know if you understand the magnitude of health care that place that we have to provide on that. So that 540,000, just like our budget, the bulk of it's for salaries to pay nursing, and the doctor comes in twice a week, 24/7 coverage, just to make that place run down
Well, it's
there.
not nursing, you got one nurse and you've got other people in there that work.
Well, they're LPNs.
They're LPNs.
Well, my question is, could we do it cheaper in turn?
Well, now
If you want to dive off into the healthcare business, maybe so, but I would recommend not,
Okay.
but you've got a company that the liability for healthcare, I mean, they got insurance,
Okay.
they're the
okay.
professionals.
And that was my question, the numbers didn't look like they added up. Joe, you had something?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say for us, we met with them, Mr. Black and I, and they presented good information and explained a lot that I forgot about and didn't know. But I would recommend that we go ahead and approve this one this year and maybe do a study about looking at providing our own. And, you know, maybe, within the next year decide, make that decision and see if we might could do it, more efficiently.
We're also gonna try to, have a conversation with the hospital and see if we can't get down to Medicaid rates.
Right.
We're half price now.
Okay.
And, that's something that I've been talking about to the hospital and see if we can get them to go down on the rates. You know, we've had a couple of really big, things that the hospitals gave us a bunch more credit than normal. You know, because we did open heart surgery on one of our jail employees, but,
That was at 300,000.
yeah. And they took most of that money back. You know, we didn't pay them, they didn't charge us for most of it. But, you know, like I said, one month you can have a whole bunch and the next month you can have nothing. And we have to go back and, it takes a lot of time. I always thought we could probably do it cheaper ourselves, but that does include that they have to take care of all the medicine and all the medical supplies that they need at the jail. They're responsible, that's included in that, you know.
And I'm just asking, I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine.
That's 4 employees, right? 3 existing and the new one.
Get
No,
24 hour
no, they've got 24-hour coverage 7 days a week, so it's way more than 4.
Okay.
Several
They're on
nurses.
12-hour shifts, so probably 8, 9.
Okay, total. Okay, just keep your coverage on top.
Yeah, I'm not sure the number of employees, but,
It's a new addition to their sheets.
Oh,
yes. And that money is, that line item, if you look at it, there's
You can see it on your bill.
enough money
Southern
in
Health
there,
Partners.
even though there's that increase, we've got enough money in there. And for the anticipated healthcare cost over the next year, so nothing necessarily has to be amended right now, that money is there. You know, of course, it would cut
Well,
in.
we will have to do a budget amendment, but, we don't have to, it's not gonna start till January the 1st, so we'll have to redo the budget a little bit to get it and, you know, our budget, normally it'll end in September. Normally it would go to their budget usually goes, they're gonna be on the same month to month like we are, and so it's not gonna make a huge difference one way or the other right now, but it will.
Right.
I don't even know how much Southern Health Partners was this time.
So, Mr. Smith, I'm understanding then they have total liability, we have 0. How does, of what
No.
they do, or how does
No,
this?
that's right. If we got sued, we would bring them in under, their whole harmless for anything they did. You can't contract away, government's liability on running its jail and providing medical care. But actions of their employees, medical decisions of their employees, and yeah, they would be a buffer of liability between us and the claimant. That's the best way to look at it, a liability buffer.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Joe, this, of course, is all brand new to me, so this is the administrative cost. Totally right. It's not the medical cost. It's like, if we pay this, this takes care of the administrative medical.
So in our line item, our budgeted healthcare cost is $825,000. The contract with the healthcare provider has been $540,000. The new recommended one goes up to $644,000 that adds that nurse. So whether we keep it at 540 or go with the 644,
Well,
there's
go ahead.
there's included in that, they pay $84,000 towards the first set of bills that we get. Now, when we exceed $84,000, we're just paying it straight out of that.
I was gonna say, we budget, when we do our budget at the year, we do our budget with the amount that we pay Southern Health Partners. Then we add a couple $100,000, $300,000 to that total. That's why it's 800 and something. That's why he's got a $5 million budget at the jail. You know, $1 million, that's almost medical care.
Do we share that cost with city, or do you have state
Yes.
prisoners that we share?
Yes.
Yeah, so if a city inmate goes to the jail, they're responsible, or to the hospital or something, they're responsible for it. But now, if there's a city inmate that receives, attention at this facility on site, there's, I mean, as far as I know, there's no reimbursement for that.
We need to look at the
No,
per
we do
bed
too.
price. If we're gonna adjust that, we
There
need to
is,
adjust that
Anita
for
keeps
per
up
bed.
with all that. We know how many, the city pays a percentage of, for city people that are in jail, and then the ones that are charged from Southern Health Partners, those get charged to the.
Extra.
Extra
Okay.
to them. That's
This
okay.
ratio is still about 30% to city.
The city is about,
Has that
yeah,
changed?
that's about, it changed, it goes back and forth,
Right
you know,
in
the
that
city was
area.
complaining, just like the city complained about the charge the other day, remember? That was something Anita had pulled that person, you know, we looked to make sure that we pull those people out. I
Okay.
was looking, we don't have the same ones. But it's, we go through the bills.
Right.
I mean, and at the end of the year, she goes back and double checks, because sometimes we owe the city money, sometimes they owe us more money, it goes back and forth. How we've always, because they have about, she charges them, I think, 30% a month, and then sometimes at the end of the year, maybe they owe us more, a little bit more, because they've had more than that many people in there, and sometimes.
It's all settled up.
It's settled up at the end of the year, yes,
Okay.
sir. It's a real pain.
Any more questions?
Okay.
Thank
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Eric Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Handful of things tonight. First thing, Brenda already had that on the agenda there, the SIMS contract, that's the county information management service we use. Do our work order stuff through that, it's a really good system. They basically just converted over to a cloud system. It's a lot cleaner. Now you can do anything on your phone, so, and I got you set up yours there, I'll send you that. And
Or is the commissioners ever gonna get access to that so we can actually put in?
I can have it to you right now if you want it. Actually, I think you're the only one up there without it, and I'm just saying. Just saying, yep, I can confirm that.
Is that by intention?
I will. That is definitely, if y'all want it, I can get it for you. So we've got licenses available if you need them. And the phone system is great, it really is. Now, especially with this new cloud system, so like I can research work orders and go back. It's not just for input now, I can actually go back in and I can access everything, so. It's a great system. We're putting more and more stuff underneath it. And just as a reminder, they're an Alabama County based. That's all they do. They don't go to Georgia, they don't do cities, they only do Alabama counties. And they've got 50 something of the 67 counties. So they're great. I can call the owner, text him, his wife, she's always on the phone with the ladies in the office. They're really great. So, that's because that's a contract, it's on the agenda. Next thing I have is just kind of housekeeping. Delaney Trace subdivision, if you recall, that was Jesse Griesby's subdivision he did, one with the roundabouts up in off of 33 up there. Their time has allotted, and so we can accept their roads for maintenance, and so they've submitted the letters. So that's the paperwork for that. On those same lines, Sky Park Section 5, which was done in 2019, and Brenda, I'll send you that this afternoon. That was the last real development we did under the planning jurisdiction, so it was complicated. So it went through us, but it didn't. We talked about it, we inspected it, we did the whole thing, but it went to the city back when we had to do all that. And so, but for whatever reason, the city did their part, we inspected the road, but we never accepted the roads. So Comcast is trying to put internet out there, and they did a utility permit, and we got to look and we're like, wait a minute, this is not on our books, and so that's just something we need to clean up. So I'll get rid of the paperwork on that, but just basically we inspected it and everything's good, we just need to accept it in our maintenance. So get those people internet. Next thing I have, we've talked about this over and over, and I'm actually bringing you this a week early. I want us to have this conversation today, and this will be something that we would put on the December meeting to actually approve. So we're way in front of this thing. This is that Roger Brown development out Killen, just east of Turtle Point. So he submitted his phase one. We have spent a lot of time reviewing. So this first page here just shows kind of the overall layout. I'm just gonna kind of show you everything on this. This is the existing county road. There's the boat ramp down there. This is existing. So that's, what's that road number? 63.
61, 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that's 465 in
Maybe
there.
drive.
Yeah, so there's the boat ramp. Okay. So county road, that's private road, boat ramp, that's private road. So just kind of show you, I will point out, we've never seen anything like this. This is very unique. It's a very, what I would call a boutique type development. It's something like you'd see in Seaside or 30A, it's that kind of stuff, you know, around Nashville. The road layouts don't look like anything we've got around here. If you'll notice that street L that comes in, that's the main drag. There's nothing straight about it. I'd hate to know I drove that every day coming home. So,
Is this the apartment?
no, sir, that's a house there. The apartments would be,
Or-
they'd be back up here.
Oh, no, on up in, okay, I got you.
This is the main entrance here. So here, kind of unique. Main entrance. His long-term plan will have an entrance down here somewhere. Very sharp curves. This is pickleball courts, tennis courts, swimming pools, community stuff. He's got a lot of that stuff in there. You'll also notice that if you look in the top left-hand corner of that, there's some shaded area up there. This is proposed areas for wastewater treatment. They're going to have their own on-site packaged sewer plant. So it'll be a sewer development. It'll all be on site. I'm not 100% where their water's coming from. Commissioner Hackworth and I talked about that earlier. I've got to call into the developer if he takes me back. We'll find out. But I think that's Florence. Pretty sure that's Florence. I don't think they were doing their own water
I
plant.
believe it was Florence.
Yeah,
I think
Florence
so.
Water's out there.
Yeah, so it's probably Florence. So we'll have to check on that. So as you can see, you kind of drive in, you go down Street L, Street K, it goes down, turns on Street A. Where this is unique, and I've only got one set of these drawings, and they weigh about 50 pounds. It looks unique. If you think it looks unique from a helicopter, like this view, when you look at the plans that show the slopes, that's where it's very unique. So Dave and I had to really freshen up our engineering skills on how steep is too steep. 'Cause, I mean, there's some I think there's a 27% grade out there.
You race on that?
Yeah, you race. You race. And the funny part is, a few of those, they've got parallel parking in the street.
You know the only thing they're missing here? A roundabout, maybe a fountain in the middle or something. Boy, that would be great down there.
Let me show it to you. It's in here. So,
You're kidding.
so let me just show you a few. My shoulders are making. I'll bring this down.
Yeah, let's just all right.
I'll bring this down. This is a working set. As y'all are seeing, this is so unique. I just want y'all to see this now before we just bring it here to approve it. Because I don't know if there will be much public comment on it or not, but I just want you guys to kind of see what we're dealing with here. So like on this Street A, that's steep. Steep. That is 550 feet. There's 585. I mean, it's 35 foot right there.
Are you talking about,
17 foot, 16.
you talking about like these?
Yeah, so it's,
Roads going down.
yes, sir.
So
So down, down. Yeah,
So
here's your-
why is it?
it's a very, that's just the property. It's a very, this is some of
All
the
that whole
stuff.
property is.
Yeah, so that's the steepest one. See, it's 27.
Is that the parallel park?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is this gonna be a hazard as far as safety?
Well, it's gonna be unique. Now, I don't know that it's dangerous. I mean, it's 27 degrees is not, I mean, you know,
Well, here's what, my only concern is, as long as it's safe. We're not signing off anything we don't think is safe.
let me say this. Parallel parking on that, I'm not doing it. I don't know how you do it, but I mean, I can't say that it's not safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that's a
Here,
very common thing.
parallel park uphill, there, parallel park down.
This would be downhill and uphill.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, so,
Yeah, and did you see he's got a lot bigger one over here?
what's a hill that, you know, a hill that's 27 degrees, is an ideal, what kind of hill we talking about?
No, off the top of my head, I
Is
know.
that
You know,
a,
like dips or you
Well,
know.
there's one out in the west end that I don't know what it is, but I'll look that
It's
up.
deep.
I'll look that up. see
Any
what it
streets?
is. Uh,
Scott Park's
no,
over there. There, the S turn in Scott Park is gonna be like this, similar to that.
Yeah, yeah, it's
oh,
pretty
Yeah.
steep.
where it goes up there?
So when you
Okay.
look at these though, you're talking about, you know, that's 1680, so there's 100 feet, 100, so you can only talk about 125. I mean, you're not talking about real long sections, because it's kind of up and down. But it's just very unique. Let me just show you a few more.
You're comfortable that you'll be able to maintain them when they're done?
We will not maintain.
They will be,
These will be privately maintained.
we will not accept.
The caveat is they have to build it to our standard. Now we are doing this, it's gonna have some waivers. It's gonna have some waivers. If it was in our system, it would have waivers. Like that's not a 45-mile-an-hour design speed. We don't want that to be a 45-mile-an-hour design speed. We do a waiver on all those. So they've already asked, I've got the list over there, I'll have some waivers for, some of these steepnesses, some of the speed limits, some of that stuff.
So then we'll come back later and want us to take it, but right, they understand.
Yeah, we're gonna have it so clearly marked on all the plats that it meets our standards, there's no anything like that.
So we approve them doing it, but we're not accepting it into the system.
That's right.
Okay.
Now, one thing that's major unique about it, you can see on this plan, all their drainage is in the middle of the road. So they don't have a crown, they have an inverted crown. So all of the gutters, you see here, that'll be a gutter, all down the middle of the street. So, that complicates things too, because it's backwards from the way we think.
So that'll be
We
some
look
kind
at-
of grate like
Yes.
that?
Be a traffic rated grade, those are not cheap. So,
Will it be driving over the grade?
Yes, sir.
They will?
yes,
So by us, so we'll have to approve this, right? By us approving it, but not accepting the road's not gonna put the county, okay.
our subdivision regulations allow for privately maintained developments, it just has to be kind of vetted. So, let me just give you a few more, just to give you an idea. There's another 27. You see these, the river's right here, like Turtle Point's right here, the river's over here. These little alleys, these things are little. They're very little, which, I mean, all it's accessing is this house. So there'll eventually be 2 houses here too, so you're gonna have.
How wide?
That one is.
Did they say what?
Except for.
It's a boutique shop.
We're trying to be fancy.
Outside of
And we'll be providing garbage services and all that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Much.
100 and something stuff pages, so it takes a little bit. A lot of common area in this. I mean, it's a neat development. Like, there's some, sorry, give you like some of these curves. I mean, that stuff that's not 45 mile an hour. That's like 10 mile an hour design speed stuff, like real time. It's okay in a neighborhood. This ain't a through street. Just the road going in there. People aren't, and a gate, people aren't gonna be traveling it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different mindset a little bit. It's not like Sunday Drive, people are gonna be out there trying to make that curve going 30 miles an hour, you know?
This is the area where killing is in control.
I would assume that is, with a gate, I'm not exactly sure how that works.
Question from last week about the planning commission, that we didn't know. What was that?
I brought that up down there.
Um,
Everybody is good, all 67 counties are good with having legislation that the planning jurisdiction cannot exceed the town limits.
Police, that's what we need.
Police are planning.
Their planning jurisdiction can't go, they can't go further than their city limit.
So what does it say now, y'all?
They can go 5 miles out.
5 miles outside of us.
If we allow it.
But that, we didn't gain anything here,
There was,
if we allow it.
Yeah.
But we didn't allow it,
We
did we?
don't have,
So they can't go outside their planning jurisdiction,
they can't.
not here.
outside their city limits.
Building code can, but not plans.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like for-
Now they,
That's
if,
right.
Phil Pettis said he would sponsor
For building codes too.
the work, they can't get involved in any kind of anything at your city limits.
Right,
As
right.
far as building code,
Appreciate
charging a permit fee.
Look at that.
What?
Half word is responsible. He told me to get this is the statute itself. If you look on page 3, the last 3 paragraphs of page 3, it talks about what a city can enforce. It has 6,000 or more inhabitants, what it can enforce within its police jurisdiction of 3 miles, and what it can't. And, so y'all can read that and ask any questions you want. That's for building codes, et cetera, which is what Eric was on. It's different than planning.
So instead of 5 miles, 3 miles.
For police jurisdiction and then the municipal enforcement within that 3 miles of their building codes, inspections, et cetera. Now, if they don't do it right now, and the county does it, they can't, and cities and counties can come to contract and agree. But the way we are right here, say Florence, for example, has a 3 mile police jurisdiction, and they will enforce their building codes within that 3 miles, and that's the law that lets them do it.
Okay.
So again, y'all can read that and let me know.
See, what we got past before we overlooked this, was that they couldn't extend the police jurisdiction to the town limit. Got to that point. And then they can increase, so they have to get the town limit up there, and then the police jurisdiction, as the town goes, that's.
And right now, anything less than 6,000, it's a mile and a half.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Yes, sir.
So just the last thing of interest on here, this is this is, the Garner Fountain. He's just got it shown fountain on here. He has actually went back and forth on that, whether he does want to do the fountain. He's supposed to let me know soon. So, but he's got it labeled here, but you can see he's got these, see like this one out here's like 14 feet. But you're talking about 2 lights and a light, so it's just gonna be like them pulling into their garage and pulling back out.
It's gonna be like a-
Well, no, it's a
one-way.
pretty way.
But I mean, it's just,
Wait, I'm coming out.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's stop cars. That's like, they were trying to, like, okay, how we can see required stop light, like, how are we going, how can people stop and see and all that
So
stuff.
why they didn't consider it around
They had it drawn originally, and that is pretty valuable real estate. That's a
there? It would take more, it would take more property.
So it's like, look at this little lot right here.
The gate's secure.
0.02.
Yeah, so that's probably, think downtown loft top building, stuff like that. So it's really unique. It's really unique. Like you take this little street D here, I mean, this little guy, it's an 18-footer, and you got these little, I mean, that's the kind of stuff you're seeing in pretty big towns.
Are they gonna control the construction, or are they gonna just sell lots? Is that what they said?
I think he's got a pretty strict architectural.
He's gonna control it and sell them as a building. That's what I do.
Yeah, something.
Because I put up a big video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put some there.
Get it
I don't
straight,
think
right?
you get tired of
Yeah.
If you
Well-
do, where you gonna park?
So now I got the next slide. So,
Wow.
so
Okay.
Like I said, I anticipate this to be on the December meeting. I'll get that out of the way. I anticipate this on the December meeting. It's just, it's such a big project. I just wanted to, I want to go see it. If y'all think of anything, like the water stuff, like any of the stuff that we need to be checking on or whatever, he's got some deadlines. Of course, wants it done yesterday. And so, but I just kind of want to make sure y'all know what I know. So, if you want to go out there, if you want me to arrange a meeting, if you want, on something like this, if we need the engineer and the developer to come, meet, go through some stuff, and we can do that too. So I just want y'all to understand kind of the magnitude of this project, and anything y'all want, we'll make it happen. So, the next thing I've got, we've actually got a normal subdivision. Actually, before we do that, if you recall, a couple months ago, we had talked about a conversation we had with a potential developer about redoing the intersection of Huntsville Road. That developer hired Skipper and Associates, who's a pretty renowned traffic consultant in Alabama and Southeast, to basically go through and study that intersection. I'll let you check it out. And so this drawing shows okay. I'll share. Right. All right. Their intention, currently Huntsville Road goes to, it goes to the red light there, kind of on the hill, not a real great curve. And this is the existing, red light, here. That's the existing red light. So what's the next page?
Oh,
No,
okay.
I got 6.
you got 6 of those?
You got 6, yeah.
Six.
Is that development planning on coming?
That's existing. So, yeah.
No, I'm good.
Existing. Okay, all right. So you see existing, that's, you're holding that just right. So that overlays
Yeah,
just like that,
Be good.
okay? So they're looking to move the intersection back to here, okay? This is, everything, that little church there. This was that, yes, yes. And the limit truck used to sit there. That's the best way I can describe that spot. You don't know exactly where we're going. It's the Paul Johnson property. That's the Paul Johnson property there, okay? So as you see, kind of that top here, like that right there. So they're wanting to curve that in and do a full intersection there. You said it's kind of a 4-lane. It's got they'll have a through, a right turn, they'll have a 2 lanes coming in as well.
So this will be going across here, won't be allowed,
Right, right. So
like it is now.
this would be, the existing intersection would be right out and right in.
And they take this light out.
And see how they got that turn? You'd be able to come in, take this light out, you'd still be able to turn left. That's it.
Yeah. So that light will come down here.
Yes, sir. The light would come in here, access here would be right out, right in.
So this part ours, the rest of it's state.
This is all state.
Yeah.
but
Issue, this is our issues in
this is
here.
our.
Huntsville
And
Road's
so,
there.
yeah.
Till you get up there to Wilson Avenue. and see.
So the silver lining to this is if this development came in, they would inevitably need sewer, which means the city would need to annex these 2 properties, which would mean that we would not own this portion of Huntsville Road. So it would fall into my diabolical plan to give away that road a little at a time. So they would give them real little, so we can build it real nice and build it. So you see what they're doing here?
Yeah.
So when they annex this, we would, So, all that to say, they've done the study, this is from Skipper, this isn't from the developer, this is from the traffic engineers. They have asked me, and really on behalf of us, to just send them an email saying that we see this, that we're not adamantly against it, we're not necessarily for it, but we would entertain this. And so, which I think is a great option. I think from a safety standpoint, it's a lot better. I think for future development, it's a lot better because it really aligns that intersection. When that property on the north side of the road right there develops, they're gonna need a light there. It's just, I think this makes a lot of sense. And so, you know, from my technical opinion, I believe it's a good thing for safety in the long term. But I would not send that recommendation out without at least talking to y'all, make sure y'all are okay with that.
So you said that development is, I mean, they're doing this on behalf of that development, and it's gonna come here if everything goes well.
That's what I understand.
That'll help that congestion at time, when there's at times of getting into Indian Springs,
Yes.
all that, certain times of day.
Yeah. And I don't know what their timeline is, but you know, if they did this project in the next 18 months and tied all this into the widening project, I mean, it would just,
Boy, that
all that would just be great.
yeah, really.
So if y'all are okay with that, I mean, it won't be anything too official, just an email just saying, hey, we've looked at it, we think it's a good concept. You know, we would support, you know, looking at that and would be willing to look at relocating off the road.
So this new road would need to be both county and city specs, because meet county and city specs because of the
Yes,
annexing,
yes.
and then taking it over.
That's part of my little plan. Oh, yeah, we would definitely ask them to build it to city specs, yeah. Which they would anyway. I mean, that's not a standard road. You know, I mean, that's a 10,000 car a day road. That's the busiest road we have. So, I mean, it sees, even with no truck signs, it's a lot of truck traffic. And so, yeah, it needs to be built industrial. Okay. Y'all okay
They're
with
just
that?
asking for you to write a letter, not the commission.
Right. Yeah, I'll
The
just
commission's not
be
gonna
civil.
be
I'm not doing that without making sure we're all on the same page.
Okay.
All right, last thing I got, take a break from subdivision, we're gonna go back. We got another subdivision, this one's ready to get on the agenda for next time. This one has been talked about several times over the years, and I think everybody, who's got one? I think the election goes, so. Okay, this is, Pinewood Hill subdivision, Ricky Beal, home builders, the developer on this one. This is, Commissioner Black, what's this subdivision? Brookwood,
Yes, sir.
Briarwood Village,
Backside of Briarwood.
Briarwood,
Backside of Brookdale?
Oh,
Bridgewood,
It's on 43.
Bridgewood. Yeah, so there's 3 subdivisions off of Bridge Road, off County Road 25.
they're over here.
Yes, sir. Over here, and they just go in, they're nice homes, they just kind of go in and cul-de-sac and come back out. And there's a stub in the back of it, which they did for future development. And so, this property, if you drive up Highway 43, which is right here, you can see, this property was cleared a long time ago, it's kind of been sitting there, it gets grown up a little bit, and they kind of keep it bush hog, but it's basically stripped and ready to build now. And so, they are gonna tie in here to this stub, which is perfectly legal. These residents may not like it, but it's legal. That was the intent when they built it. The good news is, they are doing an entrance on 43. They will be doing a turn lane. It will be right in and right out. The way that median lines out, they will have to come out and go in here and turn around. But that's good. We worked a lot on design, making sure that this wasn't here, so that people didn't use this as a racetrack. So, will people use it? Probably. Will these people use it? Oh, yeah. But we can't stop any of that, so what we do from an engineering standpoint is we get it up here, we make it, you've got to make these turns, we'll have these 3-way, 4-way stops, so there'll be stopping, so you kind of discourage cut-through traffic, you know what's gonna happen. So, they'll have a big detention pond here, and they will actually have one here, which is on their kind of future development track. So from a water standpoint, there's a lot of water out there, as y'all know. he's got a good design, we spent a lot of time on drainage, and I feel pretty good about that. The good news is a lot of it's just going across.
Alabama Street down
Yes, sir. This property doesn't tie to Alabama Street, but it gets pretty close. It actually borders that little, is Amanda Way, that little private road subdivision that's in the sharp curve there, and on Alabama Street, right beside where.
Like 12, 15 houses on that road right there, right at the tail end of Alabama.
This future development phase borders that. So now their water goes down through there, but they've got a huge pond, it should be fine.
here. Where is it where you go and get corn?
That would be,
That's on down there.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You got it up on the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be between Alabama Street.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, and here, there's Alabama Street. So.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But it's a pretty good development. It's, like I said, it's, 42 lots. And so it's a pretty good one. Like I said, don't know how much conversation we'll have from the neighbors. We will have to send letters. David's preparing those right now. We'll get those sent out tomorrow for, everybody adjoining. So, but it does meet our regs and it's pretty straightforward.
Building that to county specs,
Yes.
the road.
Yes. This one's standard. We did this one.
Did he do Briarwood too?
I don't think so. I don't know.
So
that
it's two
he's-
different developers.
I don't know that he's a home builder. Good home builder. But, we're good. And I'll send you. And
Oh, they didn't trade it. I had a house.
Yeah,
That's what we did that.
yeah.
that's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anything else for Eric? Okay.
And just so y'all know, we've got some other subdivisions that are ready, but we're waiting on like an application. After last Tuesday, it's like a faucet turned on.
Oh, how many?
Yeah, so we'll have several more of these on the next meeting too.
We're growing.
They're coming.
Gresham Road looked good.
Good, thank you.
I went down there. so-
Okay, thank you. It'll look better next week. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit, some improvements. on
Only
that.
100 rounds, Bob.
That's on six. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Tom?
We don't have a lot. I just mentioned to Brendan, I told her I'd bring to y'all. You talked last year about helping our guys with the Christmas parade, since they've been doing it. And it's coming up, this is 12th. And I didn't know if y'all still interested in doing that this year or not. I told them I'd just bring it to your attention and let us know. So,
What we did last year?
nothing.
We didn't do anything, we looked at that, but
We
we
talked
talked
about it. Roger.
How much do you need, Tom?
about
About 10,000.
$500.
Well, I was fixing to say.
Whatever y'all
That
want
money
to give
come
to
out
us,
of
it's
tour- That
fine.
may come out of tourism.
Yeah, I
The
mean.
guys don't know anything about it. So they've been putting it out of their pockets the last 2 years.
Yeah, throw candy to everybody.
Yeah.
Just bring some to Roger.
No, we don't allow that sort of thing around.
That's what kills the deer out there, isn't it? That's all I got.
So they'll have trucks in the parade and all of that.
Yes, sir, the city's already called us, want to make sure we can be
And we understand all the conduits ran over at First Creek. We're just waiting on the
in.
grant.
I'm sorry.
All the conduits ran at First Creek.
Yes, sir,
We're
that's
just
what I
waiting
was
on
gonna
the
say, that was
grant.
part of the bill, that was the half of it, that's done.
So
As far as I know, they're finished with that part of it, they had to fix some water lines. And in fact, I think they ended up calling, what's the guy's name? Did, from, I can't think of his name, Collins. Anyway, he's one of the engineers last year to get it, they called me and I said, that's who put it in, so call them about the water lines, if you tell you something, so. They ended up calling a couple in, but I think they fixed everything they're supposed to, that was part of the agreement, if they tore it up, they fixed it. I think they spent more time fixing than they did putting the conduits in, so. But as far as I know, they're through with it, so. I haven't got the final bill, so I think they're just waiting on the weather to break the walk through them. So, and I hadn't heard anything TVA or the grant, so.
Anything for any of that.
I will try to call, I talked to him a while, I'll try to call Bo Cooper and ask him to, know a time frame yet when that grant's.
Well, I know with the elections and stuff, I didn't know how that would affect anything, so.
Yeah,
We haven't been.
so. But that's it. Thank y'all.
Maybe we can find that out. At least we crossed that hurdle. Okay, anything else for Tom? Okay, Brad?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Nix, welcome. Look forward to working with you over the next 4 years.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Mr. Hill for bringing forth all of those wonderful revenue generating projects today. I need some money. So several things just to bring before the commission today. One, first off, if you'll recall last year as we started the conversation about the computer-aided dispatch system within 911, we got the proposal, the 911 board agreed to move forward with Motorola Solutions, the Spillman project that the county was already using for the records management and what the city has been using for their dispatch system for a number of years. And as part of that, we broke down those expenses. I think as we got closer to the end of the year, we got some wires crossed, and I'll take full responsibility if it's on me. But part of what we had discussed with the commission was going ahead and paying the sheriff's department's portion of that contract out of last year's budget. We got towards the end of the year, that didn't happen. And so, and I don't think it's included in either my budget nor in Sheriff Hamilton's budget. It's $58,205. And so I guess my question before the commission is, how do we want to handle that? There's obviously going to need to be a budget amendment done somewhere at this point. Does it need to be on my budget, or do we need to put it on Joe's budget? Either way, just kind of bring you up to speed. So 911 has already paid $167,000 of that contract. We're moving forward with it. And the municipalities that are involved in that project have all now paid their portion of it. And so we're continuing to move forward. We just need to address how that needs to happen. How would
The cost will be from Joe, for Joe's, right?
It's on, yes, sir. It's on his side of it. Yes, sir.
I would just say, let's put it in there. It's easiest for,
Okay.
instead of yours.
Okay. Whatever's easiest. So I'll work with Ms. Bryant. We'll get that taken care of. Thank you. We are in the process of hiring a new planning employee with EMA. As we discussed with the way that we're going to handle the office is I've got a deputy director, and that's Heath Bennett. Then I have a planner that focuses about 100% of his time now on TVA. That's Rocky Rochester. And then we're in the process of hiring this new employee. They will be responsible for a lot of the, what I'll call multifaceted emergency plans. They'll be working with the school system, they'll be working with industries, they'll be working with the extended stay, the nursing homes, hospitals, and all of that stuff. So we have to have that person in place within the next couple of weeks. So that's moving forward with that. If you know anyone who's interested in working for 911, we do have applications for 911 that are open. Starting pay is $18.50 an hour plus benefits. So if you have anybody that's interested in that, then please know that that's there. At one of the last commission work sessions, we had talked about some issues that the volunteer fire departments were having with the radios and being able to talk back to the air ambulance. That's been resolved. All of those departments, with the exception of Anderson, I've got to run out there this afternoon, have gotten their radios. So that communication concern has been taken care of. Now that we're past the election cycle, I'll get each of you a copy of the debris removal contract, the MOUs between the small municipalities, the rural cities and towns. So I'll have that, expect that this week. At the last work session, we had talked briefly about rec information and how we get that back and forth to between Eric and I's office, and he and I have been in communication, and I think we've got something worked out there, so you can take that off of your list. And then the last two things, now that 911 is handling the dispatching for EMS, I'm going to start trying to report to you at least monthly on what the EMS numbers look like. So we started that in October. So between October 1st and October 31st, Lifeguard responded to 1,057 emergency calls for service in Lauderdale County. So that includes runs in the city. Of that, only 32 of those were emergent transfers out of Nancy. Why that's important is, if you'll recall, as part of the agreement and part of our conversations, I have restricted Lifeguard from using 911 ambulances for non-emergent transfers, for hospital discharges, for doctor's appointments and dialysis runs. And I know that that brought a lot of concern initially. The dialysis centers have both entered into independent contracts to take care of their dialysis patients, so business took care of business. The doctor's offices are doing the same, and I had a really good conversation with the CEO of the hospital, and they are working to establish their own third party to handle those transfers. So all of that's working itself out. But it is interesting to note that just the total call volume. So 911 calls, ambulance running lights and sirens, 1,057 times last month. The good thing that I think is important for your constituents to know is out of that 1,057 calls last month, the average response time was 13 minutes and 26 seconds. That doesn't mean that there weren't calls and times that were over that, but on average, over the course of that 1,057 calls, the average response time was 13 minutes and 26 seconds. Ideally, we want to get that down between 8 and 10 minutes, but I'm happy that we're at that. The other thing that this has created is prior to limiting the number of non-emergent transfers or runs that the ambulance service did, we were at what was called zero status. I'm sure you remember George saying that. It's when we have no ambulances available for call. We were at zero status at least 2 to 3 times a day prior to October 1st. Now we're down to zero status 2 or 3 times a week. So I think all of that's moving in the right direction. So I lay all of that foundation to say next Thursday, Thursday the 20th at 4 o'clock, there's a special called meeting of the commission and of the city council. Fitch and Associates will be here. We're meeting with the ambulance committee tomorrow to hash out some of the language in it and to make sure that we haven't missed something. I'm relying on them for informational purposes. Now, the financial side of it will not be ready until next week. AMR has been very forthcoming with their information, but there's some NDAs, corporate NDAs that need to be signed and dealt with before they can give us so that they can take the information that Fitch has provided, that AMR has provided, put it into Fitch's proprietary system and then be able to spit out some budget numbers. So what you can expect next Thursday is to be presented with at least 5 viable options, one of which is just maintaining the status quo, as well as the associated costs. So I think it's important for both governmental bodies as policymakers to not only see what our options are, but also to see the price tag that goes along with it, because I think that at the end of the day is what the community is going to ask, is how much is it going to cost. So all of that information will be provided, and they'll have staff on site for that meeting, and it will be here in the commission room. I think that's everything I have, Mr. Chairman. Oh, no, I'm sorry, one other thing. This is the controversial one. So we're getting into winter weather season. And I know that we've had some very loose conversations within the commission over the last several months. And Eric and I have talked, and not looking for an answer today, but I think it's something that we need to discuss, and that's what is the commission's expectation for my department and for Eric's department as we get into the winter weather season. Do you want to speak on how you prioritize roads a little bit?
You know, our standard protocols, we've got basically an A, B, and C list. You know, A being, you know, your I can't say it's completely by traffic volume. That's a big part of it. You know, like Huntsville Road, for example, you know, that's a very busy road. Like, we prioritize that. There's also some roads that just, what's the ones that go in there that come into 72? East Ridge. Like Linger Lost, East Ridge. So it's like, we understand it didn't have near the traffic that Huntsville Road does, but we also understand that all those people that live in there, the only way they can get to 72 is they gotta come down those hills. And so we have to treat those. And so we have a list, we call A list, built accordingly. And so that's the first ones we treat. What we've been doing is just treating basically by straight calcium chloride with tailgate spreaders. It works really good. With a little asterisk, it works really good most of the time. That storm we had last year, it did not like calcium chloride. It was too cold, it was too dry, it was very, very hot. And so every other storm we've ever had, it works amazing. You could pour it out and just listen. You could hear it working and see it working. But last year it was just a different animal. So So that's our standard protocol. We did, of course, we purchased the 3 salt, spreaders tonight, not salt. It'll be calcium chloride mixed with, basically the material they make cinder blocks out of, that real fine limestone dust. We mix calcium chloride in there, and so we treat like Happy Hollow Hill. As you go, you cross the bridge, you go up around this curve and hill, it's shaded. It's notoriously always an issue for winter weather, so we go through, we would spread that on there and basically give some grit, give some melting. So we do those on our A-list roads. Our B-list roads, basically, if we get our A-list roads done, we would grade those. We typically don't chemical treat them, we just grade them. And C-list roads are gonna be your, you know, small subdivision roads that are flat, you know, your county roads that are just, you know, that have one house on them that somebody can get in and out, and they typically don't treat it at all, just to be honest. With 1,300 miles of roadway, it's hard to cover that much ground usually before there's something else. So we focus on A and B, and then we also, of course, answer the phone. And so we are complaint driven at some level. So if 10 people call on Garner Way and there's 10 cars in the ditch,
That's not gonna be the case, cause it's an A road,
Oh,
so it's already been taken care of.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
No,
right.
me and Brad had a little bit of this conversation before, and I think I speak for all the commissioners here, that we are common sense commissioners. And I hope we got common sense department heads. In the example that came up was El Reposo. But El Reposo don't got food,
yeah. We're in Hill Fire Department, Cedar Neck, on Lauderdale Christian and El Reposo. And apparently it's been overlooked.
We treated it every day this last storm.
And in my opinion, that needs to be on A and to where those residents those food trucks can run. Plus if they need,
Where are they coming from? Where are those trucks coming from?
well, Lauderdale Christian's just off 43.
That's the problem. It's a long way to 43.
Uh,
It's a long way to 43 from there.
El Reposo.
yeah, it is. I'm not sure
It's
how
a
they
big-
get to El Reposo,
Well,
but I think the main part was the hill going up to it.
That's private.
Yeah.
That's private. Well, there's nothing we can do about that.
We treat it from where we stop back to County Road 8 every day. We took graders up there every day. Now, we weren't doing any good with it. That event we
Yeah.
had last year was just
I don't know
unique.
if they came in, the problem could have been possible going off the hill on 34 down by Dr. Studd's there.
See, that's not
Or
like
going off the
43.
hill at 8. I don't know how they was coming in.
but and here's once again what common sense we gotta prevail. If they don't got food, you gotta do whatever you gotta do. Care if it's off county right or not.
Well, and Mr. Gardner, I think we call for help in a situation like that. I think the calls I got was the National Guard, our local National Guard folks were ever called and asked for help. So, maybe.
So, all right, so a couple of things are gonna be different this year than they have been in the past. Okay, let me start with what our office is gonna do on the front end. So, as the healthcare provider, the nursing homes have a legal responsibility to prepare for whatever the event is. It's their responsibility to make sure that food and medicine are there. Two things happened in the last storm. One, El Reposo in particular prepared for up to 72 hours without being able to get any food, medicine, or whatnot there, and then the storm lasted significantly longer than that. As far as the National Guard goes, the National Guard, number one, has to be deployed through the state, which isn't a problem. The way they're gonna handle at the state level this year is there's going to be 2 National Guard teams that will be responsible for our EMA division. So that's not just Lauderdale County, that's the 7 counties in our division. So basically from Franklin County north to the Tennessee state line, from the Mississippi line to Limestone County, and all of those areas in between. That's our region. Those assets can only be used by the governor's proclamation, the way that she has established it, for the movement of critical personnel, and what I mean by critical personnel is it can't be the janitor's been here and we need a janitor to get here, or so-and-so nurse needs to get here just because her shift's supposed to be, or his shift's supposed to be this. We have to be able to show that that doctor has a procedure that is life or death if they don't get there, or this nurse has to get to this facility, otherwise people's lives are gonna be at risk. Which kind of puts us in a little bit of a predicament as far as that goes. And I think to Mr. Hill's point, part of the conversation has been, what is the difference between a road grader and a snow plow? Do we need to invest in snow plows versus do we need to invest in road graders? There's been some publicity about other municipalities, particularly municipalities moving into the snowplow business, and our roads really aren't set up for that. And El Reposo creates a very unique scenario because it's about 1.8 miles off of off of Highway 43, which is where that medicine is coming from. And in order to get there, regardless if you take County Road 8 or if you come off the hill at 34, you still, everything kind of collects into the bottom of a hole, and then getting down there is probably not the problem. It's getting out that's going to be the issue. As far as county assets go, I'll just be honest with you, we don't have anything big enough that can pull somebody out of there if we had to. And with the event that happened last year, and again, not making excuses, but just as we prepare for this year, it's important to look back at what happened. We got to a point with that storm where emergency services had to make the decision that we're not responding. Unless it's life or death, we're not responding. And so that went for certain law enforcement assets, certain fire assets, certain ambulance assets, and then wreckers, tow trucks, those type of folks that you kind of worry with. So if I'm hearing correctly, well, let me back up. One of the I think core questions that I think is important to answer is what does the commission see as critical infrastructure, or do you want to just leave that decision up to Eric and I? Because El Reposo is where you're going to get calls. I guess that's.
Well, I mean, food, medicine, essential health care. I think everyone would agree that is essential. I mean, there's just nothing, there's no way around that.
Yeah, especially if one of us was out there.
Exactly. And look, some of y'all know I better not say that. I just said that like
I think my wife might put me there.
I know, me too, Joe, me too.
You're close.
Yeah, I know, and I'm going quick, that's true.
Well, and here's the internal dilemma on the conversation. And I want to take care of those people as much as anybody, but also all the other residents may need to get to the hospital. And so if they can't get down County Road 47, they're not getting to the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, here's what
That's
Spock
the
would
balance.
say. He would say the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. So we do the best we can. I mean, because our policy here, I think, if I'm correct, is we're gonna get that one done. And then we're gonna work down from there as far as we can by prioritizing what we're doing.
The hard part is that 1.8 miles of County Road 8, there's no
Nothing else.
There's no traffic on it. I mean, you're not.
Well, and here's the thing,
helping
that's
direct
something that the EMA director might want to meet with the hospital administrator and see, kind of work with that and see if we can head some of that off.
Oh, yeah, and we'll absolutely continue to do that. I mean, I think that's something that we haven't done in the past, is sit down and work with those facilities for pre-planning. And so we're absolutely doing that.
Mr. Chairman,
Brad, I know you weren't on board when the storm hit last year. But one of the complaints I got was nobody was answering the phone at EMA.
Yeah, that's fixed.
Great.
Absolutely. Answer.
Even if we have to tell them we can't help, we
No.
gotta answer the phone.
So when we go under a winter storm warning, then our EOC will be manned 24 hours a day.
Good.
The other is we've established a road condition hotline. So if you call EMA and you need road updates, then you can go directly to that. As well as we've now created a public non-emergency means to get in touch with the dispatch center if we need to do that. So that's been addressed from last year. And it will not be the same situation this time.
I wanted to echo sort of what Roger said, you know, the common sense side on the west, you know, 6, 8, 14, 16. You guys keep us abreast of that. Last year during the campaign, what I was getting was more towards ALDOT with Savannah Highway. And I know the storm, maybe once in a generation or whatever, but talk a little bit about how you guys coordinate with the state as far as what their role is, because that's where I thought we had major issues.
So the first thing to remember on mine is ALDOT's primary responsibility is the interstate system of this state. If the interstate system anywhere close to our area becomes impassable or treacherous, then it doesn't matter where the resources come from, everything's going there. So they from ALDOT's perspective, those interstates are at their core.
All right, so if that happens, so you're saying last year that happened and we were just on our own.
Yep.
If that happens, do we then say, hey, we've got 6 and 8, but we gotta get a path to Nancy, or what happens?
What, specifically what Aldot's plan was last year. I'll name names. They had Grayson Carter is who they hired. That was who was doing the interstate. They were doing 72 all the way through into Florence. And then I forget where they stopped, and then they have A&M grading, a young guy out of Lexington who's got a grader. He was the one doing 20, 43, 64, 101. They had him going, but they had one grader that,
For all that, they had one grader.
basically, yeah.
That was a contract, not ALDOT, not state resource.
Yeah, and so, and he was also the one right around the hospital. So I know he spent one night, he personally, owner stayed in that crater for, I forget how many hours straight. Like when, and the guy never stopped, it's just, you know, at 10 miles an hour, it's slow go. And so it's a long way to stay on 20. So that was the problem, you know, and I was talking with a lot of people during all that, and I knew people were upset, and he was like, well, I graded it this morning. You know, I mean, I've already hit it once today, you know, and so, but he's like, I'm on, you know, Cloverdale now, or wherever, you know, he was having to get all those, and so
Yeah.
just wasn't enough.
Well, I mean, the other thing, Eric, do you need to get snowplows? I mean, I don't know. Cause you can go 40 miles an hour with snowplow, can't you?
You can, I can go 40 miles an hour with a road grader. Snowplows are better, they're better, but you were committed, and we're also in the dump truck business, where we roll dump trucks pretty regular. So you have to outfit a dump truck, may or may not use it, take it off, put it on the new one next year.
And I'm not suggesting I have the answer, because I don't know. That's just a suggestion.
Well, I like what you're saying, and a coordinated effort with Brad, where we could let the public know, hey, in this situation, if you're in West Lauderdale, you know, your route to 20 towards Nancy is gonna be 6 or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That there's a planned route to get folks from the side streets to main county roads to state roads.
Yeah, and we can message that easy, that's not a problem.
You know what we've done here, don't you guys? We have jinxed snow for this year. We won't get a flake this year.
Thank you.
That's the point.
Let's continue this
You
discussion.
got it.
Look, I don't know about you guys.
So, hey, we'll go to Colorado to see snow, it's only,
You know, we need a little snow, we just don't need it to stick to the road.
That's right. We don't need that much to stick to the road.
so I do have a question since we're talking about this. Yeah, the association, ACCA, they have a blanket policy that they refer to as their impassable road policy. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only county engineer in the state that doesn't use it. And it's like this, it's this canned statement that says, Carver County does it all the time. Like, hey, the roads are deemed impassable, travel at your own risk. Like, you don't need to be out on the roads or whatever. The county engineer, by state law, county engineer has the authority to do that. And it deems the roads impassable. That's hard for me. That's hard for me. Y'all tell me to do it and I'll do it. But I'm just telling y'all, like my guys are in it. I know people that's got to get to work at this hospital. Like impassable, if there's something across the road and I can't get through it, it's impassable. But that, like, my wife's from Missouri. Like, everything's passable to her, right? She grew up in this stuff. We say nothing to her. And so it's hard for me to do this because from the way I understand that means that if you get out on the roads and you do have an accident, you're on your own. No insurance, none of that. And that's tough for me. So kind of back to the common sense thing. If y'all want us to go that route, we'll look at it. But I've just never it's just never sat right with me. So, and maybe I need to be educated better on it, but it's just, and we may come to a day where we feel like they're impassable, but some snow and ice on the road, we have a commissioner who lives in Alaska. I mean, I think he knows what I'm talking about here. So, like I said, y'all want me to do something different, we'll do it different, but that's just kind of been my stance on it. We just try to take a common sense approach and hope that people, know their abilities to drive on it and do that. But also understand some people gotta go to work.
That's the flip side of the impassable is then you start getting the questions, why is government closing my business down?
No, y'all know impassable. I agree with that 100%. No impassable.
It's a matter of judgment.
Judge.
I know when I was plumbing, I got trapped right at dark with a 1 inch of snow on about what it was. And I called Shelley and I said, I'm gonna have to really watch it when I go off a hill there at Kendall Garden toward Shoal Creek. Which when I got there, I didn't have to worry about it because with 1 inch of snow, there was about 20 cars that went off the side and wrecked. And I mean, you can't call roads impassable just 1 inch of snow.
Right.
It wasn't impassable to me, but it was to somebody.
Well, you said the word trap. Now that's more realistic. An ice storm type situation. You think back to the ice storm we had back in the 90s, when trees are falling all over the roads. Those are impassable. I could probably see it in that scenario. Well, thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, so as I understand it, we're gonna stay with status quo of A, B, and C. We're gonna use common sense on roads that Eric can and can't get to. We understand that we can't control ALDOT, and we're not gonna get into that issue. And
We're gonna answer phones.
And we got phones taken care of. All right, I appreciate the conversation.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for looking ahead. Hey, Chris.
Something's basically wrong when the lawyer has the least amount of stuff.
Is that a message to them?
The more they talk, the
He
more I
only
get.
wants his time, he wants somebody else's time.
No, seriously, just a couple of things, and I had to wait till now to figure out what the schedule was gonna be, but, Mr. Zach, Mr. Shipper, who, approached y'all about the Hard Rock, thing down here in tax, they're calling them rebates. Probably need to come and see y'all face to face and talk to you, because I educated his lawyer in about 30 seconds about sales tax. He had no idea of all county sales tax education. So we're talking about a lot of money, and we're talking about a very major project, so y'all need to lay eyes on them, in my opinion, and vice versa, and then have a conversation, because y'all the ones gonna make the decision. So I wanna be able to tell them on the 26th that we'll either have them at a work session on the 2nd or the 9th, depending on whether you decide to have the work session on the 2nd. And give them that option. If they wanna, come on the 2nd and you're having it, we'll do it then. If not, then they'll come on the 9th. The 25th, in my judgment, will be rather busy because of our scheduling and everything. And also on the 25th, I want to go into detail. With Roger's help, we have kind of moved the MOU and proposed rental agreement, the community college on workforce development down the road a little bit, agreed on some areas, agreed on 2 areas that need to be fine-tuned, but before I can go back to them with any kind of authority, I need to talk to all of y'all about it. So I'm gonna do that on the 25th and get with their lawyer on the 26th. And I know this is a slow process, but that's just the way it is when you only have so many meetings and these points, some of these points are fine points. But we did make a lot, we made some suggestions that I talked to y'all about in early October. They agreed with 80% of it. And then the other 20% we got to discuss a little bit more. And so we'll do that on the 25th, and with your permission, I'll give Mr. Zach and Mr. Shipper the opportunity to come either the 2nd or 9th whenever we have a work session. And I'll suggest to
Do we
Mm-hmm.
them.
want to go ahead and set the 9th, just to be a definite date?
Yeah.
But we know we'll meet on the 9th.
Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely do it on the 9th.
Let's do that.
Very good. I'll call them tomorrow morning. That's all I have.
Anything for Chris? Rodney Pettis? Billy Hammond? Thank y'all for being here. Make sure Judge Motlow. Okay. All right, Brenda?
I don't have a whole lot either.
Department heads.
The lunch with the legislature is gonna be the 25th with the department.
Hey, Dean, if you don't care, look, Chris, I got a couple of things that he needs to hear before we go to Brenda.
Okay.
And y'all too, y'all, and I wanted to bring this to you. Florence has expressed interest in renting some space, and I'm working on an MOU. As soon as I mean, it's, as soon as I get it done, I will send it to Chris, and then he can bring it to us for
They
that,
had written space in this building?
in the new workforce building. Yeah, they wanted some
Oh,
space
in
in
the
there.
workforce?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about the community college. Oh, the addition, Chris, if the state responded yet, do you know?
Well, they sent me a place for an e-signature, and there she is.
So you,
Looks to me like everybody's signature's on it, so my understanding is now this 44-page change order document now properly signed, or e-signed by everybody, including myself, goes to that individual that signs off or goes thumbs down among others.
okay,
That's my understanding of it, and need to follow up with John Hitt, I will. And obviously,
Okay.
I think, you know, I mean, this, as of today at 10:30, this ought to be on their desk.
okay, okay. The other thing, y'all, is I met with the DECA Boswell came up last week, and he's willing to give us I think, we can apply for a grant for $1 million. I think he's gonna give it to us for equipment. I think CETA's gonna try to match it. So,
Oh, yeah.
we need to sit down with that. I'm gonna meet with Kevin. He, you know, we got a grant writer, somebody, you know, I think they kinda were comfortable with. Didn't recommend, but we're comfortable with. And did that. And, you know, I guess we need to talk about ownership and all those things and decide what we want to do there, but I just wanted to make an update for that. And Chris, last question I have, anything on the alcohol stuff?
I'm sorry?
The alcohol stuff?
No, sir.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, you know, our next meeting was at luncheon at 1:00 for the state legislature. And I was just gonna remind everybody that it's open enrollment this month. If you have any questions or anything about any kind of insurance or anything else, the time to bring that up. And, I got a letter from people at Helen Keller asking for a donation, but we don't normally give them anything, so I wasn't planning on doing that. I just wanted to make sure y'all were aware of it. For their festival, we don't help them because they're in Collier County. And, I have an FMLA person for EMA. He's got somebody who's going to be on intermediate family medical leave. And, they started on the courthouse over there on the 3rd floor. They've got it's completely cleared, pretty much cleared out, and they're fixing to start on,
Was there a completion date on
it's sometime in the spring.
that? Sometime in the spring?
Yeah, I don't know the date, I don't remember the date, but they're going along pretty fast. They're gonna start on our sign Mondays, our signs start out here Monday, he said take 3 days. So,
Okay.
he called wanting to know what I wanted to put on there. And I said, well, I thought we were gonna go with time and temperature. And he said, well, a lot of it's, but I thought we might put Happy Halloween, Happy Thanksgiving, you know, or something like that on there for the first, till we all learn how to type it in and put what we want to up there. But most of the time, it'll just be, you know, time and temperature on the signs. And, we have that meeting Monday, the 18th. Everybody needs to know about that.
The meeting
What's that?
At
Monday
9 o'clock.
is with Florence. We'll hear them, listen. Wants that to create a utility advisory, not a utility board, but a utility advisory board. Well,
Now,
I'm-
Mr. Pettis is going, I'm going, and in one commissioner
oh,
going,
yeah,
and Chris?
who want,
Who wants to be the commissioner?
I nominate Mr. Gardner to go there.
you want?
That's Monday.
I will go. What time, y'all? What
9
time?
o'clock.
And in this.
Let me
in-
check y'all right before.
In
I-
this room.
Saying,
No,
No,
it'll be
that'd
at the
be
mayor's
mayor.
office.
That'll be at the mayor's
In
conference.
the mayor's conference.
And that's the day of our luncheon, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I
No,
think-
that's
No,
not
that's
the day,
No.
that's not the day of the
18th
lunch.
is Monday.
Let me see.
25th is.
It'll be the 18th.
No, good.
It'll be the 18th. And,
This will also have some of our representatives, I don't know if Kim will be able to go or not, but it's gonna have some, I think Ben Harrison will be in it. Anyway, like I say, I told him we would show up, and listen.
And that was at 9, y'all?
9.
Mr. Chairman, were you able to get in touch with Cooper?
Yes. Cooper Trent's gonna be there, our lobbyist that was for the water, which is still under contract with us, and so, and he understands the whole, Joe explained a lot of it, and I just wanna make double track. But anyway, he understands what's going, we want, he understands what's going on.
Well, I know Florence's lobbyist is gonna be there, so I
Yes.
thought.
And, Chris, you'll be there,
I'll be there.
Brenda, okay.
also, the UNA's called me several times, and I've sent y'all the invitations about, tomorrow, they're from, at 4 to 5 at the Pierce Hospitality Suite at the gym. They're having, an intern program, and they're wanting the county to get involved in that. I told them I would come, and, and I've RSVP'd, yeah, if y'all wanna go. I didn't know if Roger, if you were planning on going or not. She said she hadn't talked to you. Liz Craig is who's on that.
What is it exactly?
It's an internship program through the college. They're doing, a lot of people that are graduating, maybe their senior year, they may come and work in a department, and it would be an intern type thing.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, Brenda, I support that. Now, I don't know that I'm on the nuts and bolts of that's probably gonna be left up to the department head based on need and what they're trying to accomplish. I think
Yeah,
the
and that's what this is. Basically, they're just gonna tell us
Yeah.
what's available, what programs are available, and if anybody's interested. They really were wanting elected officials to be there. And, but, you know, I told her I'd be happy to come and talk to her, because I wanted to talk to her about other positions
Right,
that we
right.
have available in the county. That, but y'all are welcome to come. Like I said, it's over at the gym. If you've ever been over there, it's up on upstairs in the gym there, overlooking the basketball court. From 4 to 5, it's just an hour. And, that's really, and I don't know if there's
What
anything.
about, Heidi? Did we come up with a date for our luncheon with Heidi?
extension agency.
She sent a couple of dates, but y'all have, nobody sent me anything back.
I
did.
I missed it.
Oh, okay.
What are the dates?
I'd have to go back.
Did y'all pick one?
Y'all wanna pick a date, I'll be happy.
It's on Monday, isn't it?
No, that was for this is for the agriculture center.
I know, but December 2nd, is it not on Monday?
That is Monday.
Okay.
Did you,
I emailed it, I wrote the emails over to y'all, and she just told me she hadn't heard anything back.
did you give the 9th?
I'm looking her up.
Okay.
What time is this joint meeting on the 20th?
Is it enough?
I sent it to you twice.
Did we do that in the summer?
I'm just saying, she said this was a good time for her, and I told her that y'all would have to be the ones to decide, so I wrote it
We haven't
over.
done it this year. Or I don't,
I
I
thought,
can't keep up with it.
I
thought we
can't,
went
I
out
thought we
yet.
always did it in the summer.
well, it's normally warm weather, I thought.
I've been twice.
Anyway,
The dates she had were December the 2nd, December the 4th, December the 5th. That's a Monday, Wednesday, and a Thursday.
Huh?
Y'all
I'm
tell
sorry,
me.
I'm sorry. That's the wrong date. That was the,
Oh, it's the second and not I can do the second.
You may be the one to see, I got something.
I can't remember.
The second
9th
is-
before the meeting.
Yeah.
That's what we had.
What time's the work session?
But we won't have a meet, we won't have it on that day.
Well, the ninth.
Well,
On
work
on
session
Monday
be
the ninth,
3:30,
we will,
so-
but not at the,
I could do it on the night.
do you want me to tell her that then?
It don't matter, man.
January the ninth?
This is
We're talking
December,
December.
Well, that would be the best for us, I guess, that's good.
Do what?
She's talking
The
about,
ninth.
decent. She's talking about
This
right
is
away.
December the
December.
second, the fourth.
What's she talking
and
about,
the
Joe?
Yeah, I sent it to,
That's
I sent
state,
Billy,
I know,
because
what's-
you're not.
what days?
not-
fifth. Yeah, I was just giving them the dates. It was the second,
He
the
got a
fourth,
copy
the
of
fifth. Monday the second, Wednesday the fourth, and Thursday the fifth was the 3 days.
That's from Heidi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So she's saying that,
Y'all just pick one of the dates is what she's trying to do.
Yeah, and somehow Billy got in there, I had to send him back and said, you're not invited, Billy, but I. Hey, Billy sent him something right back.
He's the only one knows about it.
I sent him a thing back, I thought, why is Billy answering this back? And I went back and looked and I'd sent it to him, so I think when I hit Brad, I had Brad and Billy both.
I said, I picked the fourth.
Whatever y'all want to do. I mean, I probably prefer
Well-
Monday the
Y'all tell me
second,
what
but I
date I
do whatever.
what if we do, tell her we could do the second, but we would prefer the ninth.
Well,
And
she'll
see if
do,
she could change that.
well, she can do, we haven't told her any dates.
I said, tell her,
You wanna, oh, you wanna do it on the
what if we
ninth?
can tell her,
Okay,
we can do the second, but we would prefer it be the ninth.
okay,
That way we won't,
Okay.
if we're not meeting here the second, we want to make a special trip down there.
I'll send it to her just as soon as we get it on
Yeah,
here.
that was right. I was
So,
thinking.
now, the commissioners have to go sworn in. Y'all need, I mean, not sworn in, but I need y'all to go over to the, and sign your bonds
Right.
over, and, Mr. Pettis brought me a copy of his, where he got sworn in. Did anybody else bring it? I don't think they'll ask for it up there. She just said she needed y'all's signature.
We'll give it to Will.
Give it to Brad.
My vote.
Motlow, okay, that's
We
fine.
give it to Wappo.
I'll just put it in your, when they send your bonds, because they won't have the bonds paper, you'll sign it, she sends it off, and Traveler sends it back.
And we need to go over applications today if we got time.
Why don't y'all go over there and come back up here?
Yeah, we can go over there. I'll give you a brief update here on.
You know where I'm
Montgomery.
talking about, right across the street over here.
Todd, do you know what you're talking about?
Great
we
deal.
know.
Let me give you a brief update
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
On, the legislative meeting, it was 30th, 31st of October. And we'll be talking about some of this when we meet with the delegation. The last time the internet tax, I call it SSUT, and the municipalities is trying to divide every which way, but the vote was that we would get the same percentage of it that we do. They were wanting it to go from 8% tax on the internet to 9.33, which is a state average. And everybody voted that we would not endorse raising the tax. We would not fight it either. We would just the main point is that we will want to make sure counties get percentage we get.
That's right.
And they can just fight all that out. Then, okay, it was explained, man talked, if there's a surplus in the state budget, why is the state not helping counties out quickly with state prisoners? We might want the legislators to, instead of doing this surplus, why don't all the counties, and we met on health and all that kind of 9 yards. And then, it sounds good up front of giving sheriff authority to arrest illegals. But then the main thing that was brought up is that if that authority is given, then where are we supposed to put them in our jail without being overcrowded? So, some things sound good till you say, okay, how's this going to play out? Do we have a jail policy manual?
Yeah,
We do?
I'm sure we do, yeah.
Let's make sure we do, if we can, on that.
That'd be, Joe would have that, but yeah.
Yeah, just maybe find out on that, how that would be. And let's see, okay, then I brought out about those building codes. It was a lot of discussion and suggested that if that legislation to where they can't get out of their city limit with it, the building department has to stay within their city limit of, on that. And then with that, I brought up about the private road, a legislation of where if anybody buys a property, whatever roads on that property borders will have to, they will have to tell the person buying it, tell the buyer, this is a county maintained road, this is not one. And that the legislation suggested that the only way that's really gonna come into play is that that would have to be written into the deed, that this property's on a non-maintained road or is one. And then when if they sell it, the next, it'll have to be looked at, what's the road situation there at that time, and write it back into the deed. If it's not maintained, write that back into the deed until it ever eventually becomes maintained, then it don't matter anymore. So, but everybody was good with going forward that kind of legislation.
Good, good, yeah, no, I don't think it's good, Dan. All I say.
Thank you.
All right.
So you want us